Hello everyone, thanks for joining me. How's your summer camp and your Camp NaNoWriMo going so far, everyone? Yay! Already the chat's pretty active, which is pretty cool. Let's see here. A Walking Dead lover says that they're having a problem with mosquitoes. Right? Nasty buggers have invaded my place of comfort. I think I've gotten rid of them now. Just left with nasty bites that itch up a nightmare. I hear ya. Yeah, it's mosquito season here too, and it's been a really wet spring, so there's lots of them. Yeah, and I asked people in the chat how things were going. Danny Adventures, and thank you for the host, by the way, says, rolling on the floor laughing. I just keep filling out the pre-done header sections until they all look decent, and then realize I've gotten over 1,000 words in the wrong aspect of the prompt. That's hilarious. Oh, and thank you for the host, World Anvil. Hello, World Anvil. Yay! World Anvil community is so awesome. I would like to do a big shout out, but I'll finish reading the chat first. Just a second here. Trended Hero says, I made a map! Cool! 3 out of 10 in terms of so far how your summer camp is going. Yes, he made a map. He showed it in my Discord. It is cool. Feel free to post a link if you have a link. That would, so other people can see too. It's really cool. He's designing like a whole world with like 2 different continents, and the one old world continent is exploring the new world continent, and that's like part of his plot, so it's really cool. Oh, 3 out of 10 prompts. Right. Okay, that's what you need. Songbird says, just finished my 2nd article. Oh, good for you. Right. Aya's writing agreed with Danny. I feel that. Yeah. We have all kinds of like happy emotes and flaming forges and World Anvil cheers and an awesome dragon in the chat. Hyping. Aya has done 2 out of 10. Don't worry, we are here to help you today. That is what we are here to do. We're going to do this. Quilleron Beyond, or Q, as everyone calls him, says 2 Fancy Bens out of 10. Fancy Ben is a neat idea. He is writing in a world called Megacorpolis, which I am a big fan of because it's like cyberpunk gone insane. It's like like a pastiche of cyberpunk almost. It's just great. He's like pulling out all the stops, and all the tropes are all like the corporations are really evil, and it's really cool. So feel free to drop your link in the chat, Q, because I definitely think people should check it out. His Fancy Ben is the world's last nuke, and it has disappeared. Nobody knows where it is. And it's been like decorated, and there's a cult that worships it. It's hilarious. I just love his idea. I think it's just the coolest shit. Danny says, same Aya, gonna eke my way to 4 out of 10 today. That is my goal too. I am on prompt number 3. I am behind. I'm hoping to finish that in the stream. Maybe I'll get started on prompt number 4. We'll see. Right, so... Songbird says, lies! Finished my 3rd article. I'm further along than I thought. Excellent. That's great. Danny agrees with me that Megacorpolis is amazing. Yes, it definitely is. Aya's writing says, I'm going to pull a demo and write as many as I can today. I know. Okay, I watched the Ethna stream on the weekend, right? I'm like, holy shit, people, right? They managed to, like, just... They gave themselves a 5-hour stream, and they said, we're going to do the first 10 prompts. So I watched them churn out a prompt every half an hour. I'm like, I wish I was this good. And, maybe someday, right? Once I learn how to be better at this, because, wow, I'm just so impressed. Q says, is right behind you. Oh, no. Oh, and then good Q posted the link. Definitely check it out. Dreaded Hero says, the moon exploding has nothing to do with our intensive mining operations. Who's to say that it wouldn't have exploded naturally in time, Megacorp? Isn't that their bloody logic? Doesn't that drive you in? Okay, it drives me absolutely insane, right? Yeah, kind of like police logic of, well, he might have died of a heart attack if we hadn't crushed the life out of his throat. No, no, no. Sorry, nobody's buying it. Nobody's buying it. E Songbird agrees with me that was crazy. The Ethna stream, it was amazing. Definitely watch those guys. You want some tips on how it is done by the pros, right? Secondhand Samurai's here. Secondhand Samurai says Edema runs a tight ship. No kidding, eh? Yeah, good stuff. Q is agreeing. Them Ethnicist boys are crazy. Aya says, this is my first summer camp and I've been world building only for a week today, so you just started on World Anvil. Good for you. I love it. I started this past year for World Ember. I did NaNoWriMo in November in a personal record time, and I bought myself a World Anvil membership as a, way to go. And I started with like the master membership, and now I'm Inner Sanctum because it's just worth it. It's just so cool. I wanted this my whole life. So yeah, and the community is, when Janet says it's the nicest place on the internet, she's not lying. It really is. It's even nicer than the Nano community because you occasionally, it's a bigger community, Nano, right? So you get there's a handful of assholes in every bunch, right? But the assholes do not stick around on World Anvil. They go away because nobody wants them there, and they make it clear that kind of behavior is absolutely not tolerated, right? So yeah, it's great. There no jerks, all encouragement all the time, right? Which I like. I really need that, so I think that's an excellent thing. Yes. Danny says, it was impressive. I worked like a section on one article during each sprint. I know, right? Me too. I was working on it the whole time, and I didn't even get one article done. So, yeah, Q says, it is the best community. Yes, it is. E Songbird says, I'm a cow convert, so I'm only a few weeks older than you, Aya. Cow, circle of world builders. And I told them, now that you've called it cow, it's CowCon from now on, and that has stuck. World Anvil combined with the Great GM and Kaora and Till, right, who map makers and GMs to give like the ultimate world building workshop for game masters, and it was really awesome. I chose not to do the homework. I chose to just watch the stream because I was working on something else at the time. But yeah, definitely worth your time, right? And they've archived it all on their YouTube channel, so definitely go check it out. Yeah, absolutely. Trended Hero says, I'm always worried that my maps are too empty, that I need to have all these little continents and all this stuff to fill in the empty space. But then I have no idea what to fill them with, so I just leave them blank anyway. Okay, I can help you with that, right? Map what you need, right? You don't need to do the whole continent. It's cool if you have an idea of the shape of the continent, right? But then it looked like your maps were hand done, so what I would do is scan them, right? And then like take, a cropping of the section that you're working on and fill that in, right? Because then you have an idea of how it goes into the whole shape, but only work on what you're working on, right? You don't have to create the whole universe all at once. Like I have a space opera universe. I have no idea what most of the planets look like, right? I've done like the protagonist's homeworld, right? And I haven't even done the whole homeworld. There's a whole continent, like, because it's all in the roots of a tree. They're little worlds in the roots of a tree, a giant tree. And I haven't done, like, I've done one of the planetoids, and I have not done the other two that are there that are inhabited, right? And that isn't even the ones that aren't inhabited. I haven't done that at all. So, but I'll get there, right? And I've also done my orc homeworld because that was important to the game that I was playing. So, and that's it. That's all I've done. So, you don't have to map the whole universe before you get started. Your needs might change as your plot changes too, so you don't really want to fill in the whole thing. Fill in what you're working on now, right? E Songbird says, this is the most wholesome place to be. I'm hooked. Yeah, me too. You're going to have to drag me out of here with my corpse. Absolutely, because I'm sticking around. Aya says, I don't know what SDNK stands for. Yeah, this is where I reveal I'm 45, right? Yeah, but, sorry, it says SDNK nice E-song. So that was an E-song anyway. Danny says, I'm new too in the past few weeks, but I've been so super thrilled with the community and the tools available. Really believe I can make my dream project work now. Yeah, I know, right? People are so encouraging and friendly. I mean, most of you are here from World Anvil. That's great. Um, you know, I literally I started with a bunch of notebooks, and of course that got way out of hand because, you end up putting things in weird orders as you think of them, and then you don't remember where you put them, and then you have to start a different notebook because you're like, okay, so I'm going to do one notebook strictly for the characters, right? And, then the cat pees on them or whatever, and it's just, yeah, right? So then I tried to do it on a WordPress blog kind of thing, and I literally needed, actually, no, I tried interconnected websites first. I needed to start 4 separate websites in order to try to get an approximation of what I'm doing with World Anvil now for world building. So yeah, and then I went to a WordPress blog, and that was showing some promise, but was a lot of work, right? And I never did finish it. Even the transfer of data over from the 4 websites, I didn't even finish that, right? And then I found World Anvil, and now I'm like, okay, this is it. This is where it's going to happen. So yeah, Trended Hero says, interesting fact, actually that's why I drew the whole world as it is right now, because I want to know where the new world was and what it looks like in comparison to everything else. Well, yeah, part of your plot is we're going from the old world to the new world, so you kind of have to have an idea of the shape of the continents and the size of the sea, right? After that, though, right, you can work on the shore that the explorers landed on, right, and the ports that they came from, right, and expand from there. So, yeah, absolutely. Aya says, I wrote about a magic bong and alien lesbian goddesses. Sounds like your world is my kind of place, right? So you could say I'm gonna fit in here. Oh yes, definitely. Yeah, 200 Hero says, I will say this, I've discovered something interesting in that my Europe is basically in the Caribbean, and my Caribbean is in where Europe would be, beating I had to flip the map so that you could actually sail to that. That's cool. Sure, why not? There's no reason why your world has to be identical to Earth, man. No reason at all. Scribe of Nakati, who is new here, welcome, says, it's random letters, Sable. Oh, okay, like when you're, muttering under your breath. Yeah, okay, no problem. Where swear words might potentially be, but you're not sure? Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you for clarifying for this old lady. I appreciate that. Walking Dead Lover says World Anvil is a godsend for me. I barely did any world building for my books, even after 3 drafts. Thanks to them for helping me organize myself. No doubt. No doubt. Aya says it's a stylistic form of meme speech called keyboard matching. Okay. Yeah, cool. Thank you. That's great. I really do appreciate the help. I wasn't sure. Wasn't sure if the random letters, like, did it have to be a certain length in order to be that, or which letters, like, did it matter, right? Okay, cool. I appreciate that. That's great. Verbal Kermit flailing. Yeah, okay. Awesome. Okay, cool. All right, so first thing I'd like to do is I would really like to shout out Shy Red Fox, aka Amy Voss Winters, I think is her actual name, because she is putting together a master streamer calendar for World Anvil streamers if you have not seen it yet. Right now, I unfortunately, I was trying to get everything done quickly before I went live, and I would like to give you her page, but I don't have her page handy. I do have the page that I did handy because she put an article block in there that said, if you would like to post this in your page, then go ahead. So that's what I did. Right, let's see here. There we go. Okay, so this is one of them. I've done this on both of my worlds. I'll go to my capture view now. There we go. Okay, no. So, main. There we are. Ha. All right. So this is my World Camp Master article at the Toy Soldier Saga, and here is the calendar. You can click on this and it will show you where these are in your time zone. The default view is Central Time, so, you know, Central United States and Canada, Chicago in particular, which I guess is where Amy is. And here is the schedule of streamers. And unfortunately, I'm overlapping time pool, which is really, you know, I'm sorry about that time pool. I'm, you know, I was trying not to overlap, but I've been doing this one, the Wednesday one, for a couple months now. So I'm, you know, it's unfortunate. And there's only so many hours in the day, right? So go check out Time Pool's stream before you check out mine, then come check out mine, right? That's totally cool. Right, lots of great stuff. I've been trying to watch as many streamers as I can. So if I'm not following you yet, right, make sure to post your link in the chat because I'm trying to follow as many Anvilite streamers as I can. Right, yeah. All right, and this is where I made my master list of articles, and I just discovered, see, dumbass that I am, that you can actually link to other people's articles even in article blocks or articles from other worlds. Right. Oh, thank you for the follow. Who was that? Thank you for the follow, E-Songbird. And while I'm here, also thank you for the follow, Kahuna the Elder and Sarukas, because you guys were following. Uh-oh, my screen froze for a minute. Yeah. So thank you for that. Yes, thank you, Aya. Aya has posted the master chat list. Definitely check that out. I am freezing. This is not good. I am closing Discord now, guys, so I will not be able to talk on Discord while this is going on. Just a second here. Because I need to free up some memory on my computer because it is old like me and it is struggling. So, okay. Alright. Oh my, the amount of tabs, says Aya. I relate though. Yeah, it's pretty normal. That's how I roll. Which is why my computers are always going, I can't handle it. So, 200 Hero says, hey, will you be looking at articles or will you just be word sprinting? Okay, so I thought about that. True-Ended Hero talked to me about this on the Discord, and what I've decided to do, I do these streams in parts so that I can get shit done, right? But I should go to the downtime screen again. Okay, so I do this in parts so I can get things done, so I want to actually do some work, and I know lots of other people are also doing feedback and whatnot, right? But I have a compromise idea. If you look in your channel points options, right, I have started something called a community challenge here at my channel, right? And I don't know if this is something new that Twitch incorporated or if I just finally got the option because I've got enough followers now, and thank you guys so much for that. That's really cool. I really appreciate that. But either way, what it does is it allows you to pool your channel points to get a particular goal, right? So there's a community challenge where I am giving the offer of doing an entirely feedback stream, right? And so that's what I will be doing that day, right? I will just do feedback, right? That's all. We'll look at articles and, you know, I'll give you my thoughts and you guys can express your thoughts in the chat and we'll talk about it, right? And it'll be first come, first served, right? When you come to that stream, right? So put your links in and we'll look at them in order. Doesn't matter who you are, right? And, but of course all the rules apply, right? In that if you highlight your message, it gets priority, right? If, you know, and also if you're one of my patrons, then I'll give you priority as well, right? So, you know, and we'll do that for the length of the whole stream, 3 hours, right? The goal is 5,000 channel points, and I thought about that, right? If you watch all of my streams in a week, not including my bi-weekly hour-long podcast, you can earn 1,500 points. So basically it takes 3 people to decide that they really want to do this, and we will do it, right? I've set the challenge for a week, so I will check this next week and before I go live, right? And if we have enough points, that is what we will be doing. If we don't, I'll just extend the challenge another week, and, you know, if we accumulate 5,000 points in that time, then we'll do it the next week, right? So that's my plan. Okay. So Turned Hero says, just donated all my channel points, which is not a lot. I spend them on posture checks too much. I appreciate all the posture checks. I really do. Thank you very much. I need them because I am terrible with my posture. Right? Walking Dead Lover says, donated all my points. We're over halfway now. Awesome. That's great that we're already halfway there because cool. I think that would be a lot of fun. So definitely let's do it. Right? Aya said, me too, Undead. Right? And did we make it already? Holy crap. Really? Oh, wow. You guys are great. I suppose we could do that now instead of what I had planned. Then we got the points. It's up to you. Do you guys want to do like a feedback stream now or do you want to do it next week? I'll go with the consensus opinion of people who are in the chat because that is awesome. So next week, okay. That's 2 votes for next week. Next week. Okay. More options next week. Yeah. Okay. Great. We'll do it next week. We're on. That is awesome. Thank you guys so much. That's cool. Okay. All right. I'm excited. This is going to be fun. Think about what you want to share. That's great. Cool. All right. Next time I might have to build it up to 10,000 points. I wasn't sure. Nah, we'll keep it at 5,000 for the month. If that's what you guys want to do with this stream slot, that is what we'll do. That's totally fine with me. All right, so I'm going to report back on what I have done and what I have not done, because I have not done things that, oh, thank you for the posture check, cute. I appreciate that. I'm terrible, like I say. All right. And also, I need glasses, right? So I'm like, you know, squinting at the screen a lot, which is, you know, terrible for posture. Okay, so I bit off more than I could chew. And that's cool, because you live and learn. I have never done summer camp before, so I didn't really know what was involved. And what I was going to try to do, I'm insane, right, is I was going to try to do each of the prompts for summer camp for both of my worlds, come up with something for both of my worlds in each prompt, right? Because I thought I was going to write 300 words. Boy, was I wrong. Okay. And then I was going to also do some noveling, right, for Camp NaNoWriMo. And I am insane, and this did not work. And that's okay, because one of the parts of writing is that you live and learn, and you write when you can, what you can, right? And if you have to scale back your goals or take a longer time to do things, that's okay, right? So this is a good illustration of that. Right. So what I've decided to do instead is that I am going to come up with, I'm not staying in one world in particular, right? If something comes to me for either world, I'm going to do it with kind of a loose goal to alternate, but I'm not even solid on that, right? And I'm going to count these words towards my Camp NaNoWriMo goal, right? Because it's just too much otherwise. So, reporting on Camp Nano, for those of you who are here for that, let's see here, back to my main screen. Okay, so this is my Nano, right? This is the project I said I was going to do. It's sort of like that. I'm going to have to change this information and just say Toy Soldier Saga Weird West, right? But so far I've managed 3,639 words as of yesterday. I've not updated my word count total today. And yeah, that's all world building stuff, basically. Shout out, by the way, to my cabin members here. Oh, that's where we're good. No, that's where I want it to be. Okay. No. Go back. If you're just looking at a blank blue screen, that's what it is. Sorry. Okay. Reload. Eventually. I guess the Nano site must be busy today. So this is my cabin, the Cosmic Worldsmiths. Right, lots of familiar names there. And some unfamiliar names. And it's not a very chatty group so far, but we're doing the thing. Hey, way to go, Myth Spinner. That's J.I. Rogers, and she has done 5K words. And that's great because she's working on one of my favorite series that she does, which is her Corpse File series, which is like, it's like a cyberpunk space opera, and it's just so awesome. If you've not seen it, you should definitely check it out. That's Corpse, Korpes. And yeah, I'm a big fan. She's written 2 books so far. I have them both. I'm eagerly awaiting the 3rd one. That's what she's working on. So I'm like, okay, get her done because I want to see. Okay, and in the chat while I was yapping away, Danny says, oof, I had the I will also novel plan, but I ran into a pain wall. I feel ya. Yeah, and already have a major adulting thing to do this month, so I don't think that's happening. Yeah, fair enough. You can only do what you can do, and people who have to count their spoons, right, have less of a pool of energy to work with, and we just have to accept slower advancement. And that's really okay. If you stick with it, the elephant will still get eaten. You just have to do it one bite at a time. Aya says, I'm doing, is it Aya? I think it's Aya or Aya. If I'm pronouncing it wrong, let me know. Aya says, I'm on Camp Nano too. Great, cool. Well, if you want to be a writing buddy, my name is Sable Aradia there as well. And it's all one word with the, is it a one word? No, I don't think it is. Just a second. My Nano. I'll look at my profile. That'll tell me. I don't remember anything anymore. Okay, so I have a space between Sable and Aradia if you need to search me out. Okay, I don't need to wait for that page to load. So yes, and we can be writing buddies if you like. And because I love this, I love it, and I love encouraging other people to do it. I'm a big NaNoWriMo supporter too. I would never have published without Nano. I did my first Nano. This will be my 10th this year. I started with what used to be fan fiction, and the first book in what is turning out to be the Toy Soldier Saga, which is now my own universe. And, you know, I love it. I've never taken camp quite as seriously, right? But I'm trying to take it pretty seriously this year. So, Walking Dead Lover says, today is a novel day for me since I'm a day ahead. Awesome. If I ever get one day ahead while we're doing this, that's what I will be doing with it too. Danny says, good job on those words. Thank you. Right? And I'm sure that, you know, my friends thank you too. Right? Aya. Okay, Aya. I will remember. Thank you. Okay. Danny says, very, very true. Thanks for the spoon encouragement. Okay, I teach a class, right? It's online at the Rambo Academy for Wayward Writers, which is something that Nebula and award-winning author Kat Rambo has set up for particularly speculative fiction writers, and it's called Writing in the Cracks, Finding Time for Writing When You Have None. And I borrow a lot of techniques from stuff I've learned from Nano and stuff that they've suggested, but I also have my own tips and tricks, and I do a whole section talking about spoons. So it's only $9. Check it out, right? My patrons get it for free. So, should I? Yeah, I should probably put that link in the chat, right? Okay. Rambo Academy. See, there it is. Comes up right away. Now here it is. It's catrambo.teachable.com. So there are lots of great classes there. There's a space opera class taught by Anne Leckie, who won like every fucking science fiction and fantasy award there was for her Ancillary Justice series, which is awesome, right? I highly recommend that class. Kat Rambo herself teaches a class on writing steampunk and weird western that is not to be missed if those are your genres. It's just awesome stuff there. Definitely check it out. Right. Is also, I Maribel Monty is me in Nano. Name reveal. Cool. Okay. Yeah. Send me like a buddy friends request, because I won't remember any of this, and I can't do it right now, or I'll just like stop the conversation dead. But definitely, I'm happy to be buddies with anybody. So, Danny says, "Ooh, Cat is fun. You know Cat? Awesome. That sounds like an awesome class too. I have no idea how you get all the things done everywhere." Okay, so one is I'm insane. 2 is that I don't have a day job that I have to answer to right now, right? And 3 is I'm kind of obsessive. So that's why. And honestly, I'm sort of ADD. I take on 17 projects at the same time. They all take me 2 years to get done, but I keep at them and eventually they get done. So that's how I do. And then True Undead Zero says, "You're awesome." Well, thank you. You are awesome too. Okay, so we are going to go to, where are we here? I'm reporting on what I'm doing, right? Okay, so I didn't get done all the things I wanted to get done. That's okay. I have scaled back my goals. Now, when I was doing my last stream on Wednesday, I was talking about how I was working on Pistols of the First Gunslinger was going to be my myth around a long lost item. And I was like, it's just something to fill in the gap. I'm getting some writing done. I did count the words towards my monthly goal, and I saved the article, but I wasn't feeling it. And then, like sometimes happens, it was about midnight. I'm, starting to think maybe it's time for bed, and a muse hit me. And I wrote this. It's called The Spanish Train. Right? Some of you may be familiar with the song by Krista Berg. I basically made it into a story about the myth around it, which just fit my Weird West world so perfectly. So there's my page there. Oh, thank you. I see I have some likes. Awesome, guys. Thank you so much. It's fun. I put the link to the original song here in the sidebar so that people could listen to it, and made sure to credit where I was coming up with this idea, which is right here in this pretty little allowed box, which wonderful people in the CSS chat taught me how to change to a color that I liked. And yeah, so that's what I did for that. And that was prompt number 1. Prompt number 2, I worked on in the Toy Soldier Saga world. This is the valuable historical or ancient artifact, and this is something that I needed to write up anyway because it's very important to the later books, right? So a bit of a spoiler that way, I suppose, but it's the Crown of the Stars, which is the crown of the Avalonian Empire, which has been lost, and thus the empire is crumbling because the crown indicates that you have the mandate to rule. So the heirs of the empire are still around, but they don't have the crown, so they don't have the mandate to rule it, and things are falling apart, right? And that is part of what is creating many of the conflicts in my universe. So that's my thing. I put this together with like some different assets from public domain pictures.net, right? Which is where I get a lot of stuff that I use in my images. So that's what I did. Today I am working on my religious leader still, a guy named Abbot Haywood Costello. Right. So Danny says, rolling on the floor laughing, I'm insane. Okay, that works. I really am. I'm insane. I take on way too much. Everyone is always giving me heck for it, and I'm constantly having to drop things because I have decided that I can do all the things and I cannot. So me and Janet, our work ethic is very similar. I get her totally. It's great. Trended Hero says, did you know that Spanish Soldier was a play that led to how the Spanish flu got its name? No, I did not know that piece of information. I thought the Spanish flu was a racist against Spanish people thing that was going on at the time. Just like the word marijuana was invented in order to be to give it a racist connotation, right? Because that was not the name of the plant until that word was made up in the 1920s. It was called cannabis. So, but that's cool. I did not know that. I guess a bunch of people went to the Spanish Soldier, and that's where one of the epicenters of the epidemic broke out. Makes sense. Kind of like, going to rallies and bars and 4th of July and 1st of July celebrations, guys, which is to say, I hope you didn't, because that's crazy, and don't do that to yourself. Danny says, ooh, I haven't seen that one yet. Let me go stick it in my reading tabs. Okay. The articles. Okay, yeah, cool. Thanks for checking it out. That's great. I'm happy to check out your. I'm looking forward to next week because I'll be checking out all your articles, right? Okay, so this is Haywood Costello, who is a bit of a colorful character. Where I'll view what I've got so far to show you. I used one of Verti's tab openers. And you won't see this, by the way, when you come to my article, because this is my NPC information stuff in the And I suppose I shouldn't have wasted time doing it, but it actually helped me to clarify kind of my image of Haywood. Right? So this tab was made by Verity. He makes cover sets, if you aren't familiar, and he has a Discord server where you can get access to them at any time. And so I'm sure hit him up on the World Anvil Discord and he will tell you. And I really like his gold vein set. It's the most Western looking one he's got, and I like the fact that this looks like it's a brand that's been burned in, right? But I don't know if I'm sticking with it yet because I'm not sure I like it more than my standard world cover, right, in terms of just the color scheme and image. But then again, part of that could be that I've got this big bright orange NPC thing here, which you guys won't have, and it will probably look different to you. Alright, so here's a quote from the book, right, Once Upon a Time in the Weird West, about Haywood Costello. Graham came out of the exhausted doze he was in to meet the eyes of Uncle Haywood Costello, abbot of the order and an old friend of his father's. The way he understood it, they'd chummed around when they were both young slingers riding circuit together. Without his abbot's whites, it might be tempting to underestimate him, this paunchy, grizzled man with white stubble and lonely wisps of hair, an old warrior going to seed, with soft-looking hands and an easy, blue-eyed smile. That would be a fatal mistake. Haywood Costello was said to be the reincarnation of Kid Curry Logan, and those soft hands could still draw and fire with the speed and deadly precision of a desert rattler. His dead book was worn, tattered, and full of names. Even the cover had bloodstains. I think I really like it because I think that tells you pretty much everything you need to know about the man in 3 short paragraphs. I was thinking about that when I put the quote up and I liked it. So, okay. Oh, we have more conversation. Okay, cool. Tronded Hero says, nope, it was a super popular play, The Spanish Soldier, right? That people often joke that the flu went around, like The Spanish Soldier. Ah, gotcha. It was also believed that because Spain had no act in World War I, they weren't subject to the same propaganda and military press laws. That's probably true. One of the most famous headlines was in 1919, where the Spanish got the flu. Spanish king got the flu, thus the Spanish flu. Okay. Verity is already making me some covers right now, says Walking Dead lover. Awesome. Yeah, he does good work. Really cool stuff. Aya says, oh no, Unsplash isn't working for me right now. No, that's terrible. Right? Danny says, quick head to pixels.com or pexels.com. That might save your stock image needs. Great. Aya says, oh, Sable. Also, Sable, that sounds so good. Thank you. Danny says, Haywood sounds fun. I think he's a fun character. I like him a lot. He's a major supporting character. Right, and I needed to do this article anyway, right? So this was just the natural, logical thing to do. So, yeah, I'm very excited about writing about him. He's so interesting. It's just neat. So, let's see. Yes, other places you can go for stock photos. Like I said, I use a lot. I'll put the link in the chat. It's public domain images or publicdomainpictures.net. You got to look at it closely because a lot of times people will put up like 1 or 2 pictures that are free to use, public domain for anybody, and then they'll be like, you know, from $1 professional images on the top and bottom, right? And but those will go to pay sites. Scribe of Nakati says, dear God, those tabs. Yes. Okay. So, yeah. Some of these are still up because I was still working on a recipe article, right? Which I try to do for my patrons every month, but it's publicly available. You can go and read all my recipes, right? Oh, did I put those under? I haven't done any Weird West recipes yet, have I? No, I don't think I have. Well, that's because they cook with stuff like gopher, so I'm gonna have to work hard to find that one. But mostly they've been in Toy Soldier Saga. They're under the library section, and I need to finish them. But I, you know, I just haven't had time with summer camp and Camp Nano. So, but out of sight is out of mind, and if I don't keep them up, I'll forget that I was doing that, right? And then I've got some Patreon stuff I'm working on, and this is Zapier, because I'm working on an article for the Codex about how to use the RSS feed that has been established so that you can post your stuff in, like, you know, all you have to do is update your followers that you've made an article update, and then with the thing that I've set up, because I'm using a simple app called Zapier, right, and also the syndication function at my WordPress blog, it instantly sends it to my blog, and from there it instantly sends it to my Amazon page, my Goodreads page, my Twitter, my Facebook, my Tumblr, my LinkedIn, right? And it's just one post and it's done. I don't have to do any of that other crap. It just does it, right? It saves me so much time. It's not even funny. And so they were like, can you please put this in the Codex? So that's what I'm working on. But of course, you know. Yeah. Aya says, thank you, Sable. Cool. You're welcome. Glad I helped. E Songbird says, my tab sister. Yeah, you feel me, eh? Yeah, Trunded Hero says, does the post-apocalyptic Canada have scrap rushes or gold rushes? Oh my god, I didn't even think of scrap rushes. I am stealing that idea whole hawk. That is great. Of course that would make sense. Naturally there would be scrap rushes. Because yes, there are a lot of cities that are totally trashed, and you know, people forget where they are in a few hundred years when all the records, most of which are on the internet, are like destroyed, right? So, and you know, libraries burn down and whatever, right? People lose track of where things are. So yes, I imagine they will discover ruins and there will be scrap rushes, because yes, they scavenge old tech, right? I've had a couple of old tech stuff, you know, things that have been thrown in already in the plot, and that's great. But yes, there will also be gold rushes, because the way my apocalypse works is that I don't know, it's kind of a spoiler, but it kind of represents a mashing of dimensions, right? So just because all the gold was mined out in that area in our world doesn't mean it's mined out in this world, right? So yeah, sure, there's gold rushes. The story I'm currently working on, that's one of the issues that is creating a problem, because there's a gold rush in a place where people have been like in a nature preserve, like it's near the remnants of the Banff provincial park, or national provincial park, right, which you know, also is near to the Burgess Shale, which are all very important ecological things, and there are people there who really care about that and want to preserve it, and then there's all these gold rush people showing up. So it creates a bunch of problems. And our gunslingers have to sort it out. Okay, but anyway, off topic here. Back to what I'm working on. I'm going to try to finish him up, and then when I'm done with him, I'm going to work on I've got what's the next prompt? Damn it, I forgot. Just a second here. Where is the summer camp page? Summer camp, welcome. No, that's my summer camp page. Did I not leave it up? I'm such a fool. Okay, you know what? I'll find it, because I can do that. Because first we'll go to worldanvil.com, just worldanvil.com. Because that will be, oh yeah, I guess I could do it for my dashboard too, couldn't I? But this will take me to my dashboard, so. There we go. World Anvil, yeah, World Building Summer Camp, take the challenge. There we go, there's the page. Right, okay. Apex Predator is the next article. I was like, it's something that I was doing in the Toy Soldier Saga. Yeah, so I've got an idea for a Star Kraken. Oh no, it says I'm dropping a bunch of frames. Am I still dropping a bunch of frames? See, this is the problem when you have all the tabs open, right? Then your stream starts to get bogged down. Troned Hero says, this is a land of 10,000 islands. For an empire to conceive the notion to even attempt to conquer it, they must ask if they wish to spend 100 years or 1 million lives. That's from what you're working on? That's awesome. That is awesome. Sea power is obviously going to be very important. You're going to have to spend a lot of time on matters nautical. That's great. Q says, I literally never see World Anvil in bright themes, so I wasn't sure what was going on at first. I like the bright theme. I find it cheery. If I don't get enough light on my irises and my retinas, then I get depressed. I can't do dark theme all the time. Aya says, your world sounds incredible, Sable. Well, thank you. And Walking Dead says, same, the dark themes are great. Yeah, if I did that, I would get depressed. Right? I like them, I think they look cool, and probably I should do them more at night, especially to be easier on my eyes, but I don't. So, okay. So yes, Apex Predator, I'm making a star kraken. I even have images that I took from public domain pictures to do that. There's like these assets that are like an octopus with a bunch of arms all over the place and a big squid, and I'm not sure which one I like better, so I downloaded them both, and then I'm going to put them on like a NASA story background, right, and then maybe screw with the lighting effects a bit. Shouldn't take long because it's already a transparent graphic, right, and then I can, you know, mess around with that in Photoshop. So, right, but that's my plan for the future. Now, I thought before I got into the working of that, though, and I don't know who else might be here for, I don't know if people are here for writing sprints. Maybe that would, I don't know if, you know, or you'd just like to listen to me talk, let me know. But, I thought before I got into that, I'd talk about a couple of the challenges, because I realized that I've been hearing a lot of chat about people being confused or having difficulty with figuring out what is meant by this, right? So, I'll take the liberty of saying that, of course, this is not official World Anvil policy, because I am not Janet and I am not Demetris. So, right, they will make their own decisions. But, generally I find that they're pretty good at, you know, allowing latitude for things. So I figure that, it's probably a reasonable interpretation, right? Okay, so people are here to sprint and listen. All right, cool. So first thing I thought I'd help people out with is the counterculture challenge, right? A lot of people seem to be confused about what a counterculture is, right? I had a conversation about, well, it has to be opposed to the existing culture. That's not exactly true, right? It has to have a very different set of beliefs from the existing overculture that it exists within. So that's the first thing. It has to exist kind of within the confines of an existing culture that is the dominant culture, right? It has to have its own set of, like, it'll generally have its own fashion, right? Not always, but often, right? It'll have its own social rules, right? Which will be enforced by peer pressure, right? And its views are, you know, not the same as the culture that it's in, right? And it's important because I'm a member of a lot of different existing real world subcultures, right? So I'm like, no, we're not the enemy, you know, we're not against the existing culture, we just don't agree on some minor points, right? Real world examples, right? The things that I am part of, right? I am a neo-pagan, so that is that's a countercultural religious group that generally is in disagreement with the overwhelming Christian overculture that we are in, right? And we have our own rules of behavior and our own general fashion and sense of style when we get together. Maybe not in the outside world, but certainly at festivals and whatnot, right? Excuse me. So that's one thing, right? And our religious beliefs are obviously very different, right? We're generally either polytheists or some variation thereof, right? When the overculture is monotheistic, right? We, you know, tend to believe in many gods or different aspects in different ways, right? You know, stuff like that, right? I am part of the, you know, science fiction fandom culture, which again has its own rules within its own events and its own sense of fashion and style, right? And a certain expectation of social behavior that I think is a bit of a, in my opinion, a higher standard than a lot of the generally accepted what goes on out in the world. You know, we don't tolerate, you know, anymore, I guess I should say. There used to be a lot of allowance for shitty behavior from, you know, sexist assholes, shall we say, right? But that's not a thing anymore, right? It tends to be a very inclusive culture, and I think that people should kind of look at it to see what a more inclusive culture could look like, right? I'm a member, or I used to be a member of the Society for Creative Anachronism. I haven't played with that for years, right? It's a medievalist. We, you know, create a persona that could have existed in the Middle Ages and dress up like that person, and then act in kind of an idealized sense of what the Middle Ages could have been, right? So, you know, life was brutish and short in the Middle Ages. In the idealized Middle Ages, everybody's a noble, right? And there's a code of chivalry, right? And people have to treat each other with a certain degree of respect. And there's a lot of permissiveness for things that go on, right? That, you know, otherwise, like, I don't know, frankly, there used to be a joke, right? If you can't get laid in the SCA, you can't get laid at all, right? People tend to be a little bit more sexually free, right, when we get together for festivals and whatnot. So, you know, that kind of thing. And let's see. Yes, the LGBTQ community could be considered a subculture. It certainly was. Although I would say that's fading now because it's, you know, I mean, we have mainstream drag races now. So it's becoming more accepted. So that subculture is now influencing the mainstream culture. And that's a good study in kind of where the borders are, right? One could have considered the evangelical culture to be a subculture, but it's also influencing mainstream to a large extent, so I would no longer consider it that, right? I also used to be part of the goth culture when it was big in the 90s. I was a goth rock musician, and I would not call it a subculture for the reason that there was not a social standard of behavior that was being enforced by peer pressure. So hopefully that gives you some help, right? Other examples: the Mennonites, right? Mormons, um, punks, bikers. Uh, one might argue the rave culture has its own subculture, right? Obviously, they have a much more permissive view of substances than the overculture, right? No judgment from me, man. Just don't do anything hard that's gonna, like, you know, endanger your life, please, right? You know, hippies are a subculture. Black Lives Matter could have been considered a subculture until the recent protests. You know, it doesn't have to be against the existing culture. And now that I have finished my lecture, okay, 200 Hero says, "You're the fastest say this side of the Serengeti." That's hilarious. I love that. A Walking Dead lover says your voice is really soft and soothing for just listening to. Is it? Cool. That's cool. I thought about doing ASMR videos because I really like ASMR, but I was like, no, my voice is too sharp. And so if it's cool, maybe I will, because that's neat. Hey, the Ethnos guys were, you know, definitely soft and soothing. I could listen to that and fall asleep. It was great. Plus their music was very chill. So, E Songbird says, "Yay, Neo-Pagans!" Scribe of Nakati says, "I feel like the tendency is to make counterculture groups the plucky underdogs instead of an actual antagonistic group." Well, often they are, right? Like, Neo-Pagans don't want people to stop being Christians, right? We're perfectly happy, you know, worship whatever you want. We don't have anything against Christians, right? We're not here to, you know, bring down the church or anything like that, right? We're here to we just want to do our thing, and we want you to leave us alone and let us do our thing and stop trying to preach the Bible at us at our public rituals. Okay, that's all, right? We're not against the existing culture, right? Now they can be countercultural groups can be antagonistic. I would definitely say that bikers are an antagonistic culture, right? Around here, a lot of the organized crime tends to be organized by the Hells Angels, right? And that's a problem, right? But they don't have to be, right? Just they have to not agree in many significant ways with the dominant culture that they're in, right? And Tyranid Hero says that's something who is someone who is the enemy would say. I suppose there are a lot of Christians out there who think that simply by existing, neo-pagans are the enemy, right? So your mileage may vary, I guess, right? Aya says, I'm a member of the Satanic Temple. There's a good example. Yep, more of a philosophy than a religion, and also not LaVey. Okay, cool. Yep, though I want to try Wicca. I think it's something I might enjoy. You know what? That's cool. I actually know a fair bit about the Satanic Temple from an outsider's point of view because we tend to rub shoulders a lot as minority religious groups that especially since the overculture tends to be hostile towards us a lot and views us as like enemies. Yes, most the Satanic Temple tends to be a philosophy of atheism, right? And turning a lot of the things that they view as negative behaviors that are enforced by the overculture on its head, right? For instance, they think that humility, and obedience, it just teaches people to be robots, right? Correct me if I'm wrong on this because you know better than I do, right? And they just want people to be comfortable in their power and free to be who they are, right? And really, there's nothing. I don't. That's not the enemy, man. Right? They don't generally believe in a literal Satan, right? And they're not out to destroy Christians. They just strongly disagree with a lot of their points of view. And there's an overlap with Wicca. Lots of Wiccans will try to tell you that Wicca has nothing to do with Satanism because we don't want the bad press. And what that is PTSD from the Satanic Panic, where the worst possible thing you could be was a Wiccan, because you would get, like the Satanists generally were fine. They had a structure to protect them. We didn't, right? So we ended up on the receiving end of a lot of abuse from authorities who thought, that people were getting murdered. And by the way, Eve Remembers was a hoax. Look it up, right? I was there, so I get it, but they would be wrong, right? There is a definite link between the two. The occult movements that started both, right? We have roots in things like the Hellfire clubs, right? And the occult movements of the 16 and 1700s and the Romantic movement of, Victorian era. So yeah, we rub shoulders a lot. We have a lot in common. Definitely. Yeah. Okay, sorry. Tangent. But actually, maybe not, because it's a good example of how subcultures work and how they can overlap. I find that a lot of subculture members tend to be overlapping, right? I mean, like I said, I'm a member of a lot of different subcultures, and like everybody, I tend to be, and that's not unusual, right? Lots of us do that. The kink community could be considered a subculture, right? They just don't agree about the general opinion about what sexual morality is, right? They think that as long as you are adults and fully consenting, then have at it, hoss, right? And I tend to agree, right? So I'm generally not part of that community, but I definitely rub shoulders with a lot of people in it. And, as long as you're doing no harm, then I don't think it's anybody else's business what you do in your bedroom, right? So that's just me. Toronto Hero says, one thing that I often argue is when people say that pirates have to be against everyone. Okay, all right. I can't wait to hear your case, right? For the first half of Caribbean piracy, they were nothing more than private mercenary groups that worked for Akai, and many were honored and awarded. Sir Francis Drake was knighted, and Henry Morgan became governor of Jamaica. Yeah, there's a thin line between pirates and privateers, right? Privateers were kind of, winked and sanctioned because they had a letter of marque which said that they had the right to do piracy. Oh, hey, is my song thing over? I think it is because I've been talking too much. Are we an hour into this already? Holy cow. Oh, no, wrong one. I wanted to go to a different. Where is it here? There we go. That's the next music I wanted to go to. Okay, so yeah, there's a thin line between them, and it was basically whether you had colonial sanction or not. Um, one might argue, if one were against colonialism, which is, something I would say is a definitely valid thing, certainly in retrospect, we should be in history, right? That pirates were perhaps in a way better because they were out for themselves, right? And a lot of times they were also political opponents, right? Grace O'Malley is somebody that I did a lot of research on. She was an Irish pirate who existed during the Elizabethan era, and generally she was just raiding English ships because the English colonialists were like trashing the Irish at the time, and she was taking her shit back, right? And I based my persona in the SCA a lot on her. That is where the name Sable comes from, right? I was Sable O'Malley, right? And I was a pirate. That was my deal. So, yeah, it's a good point there. Okay, aside. Okay, thank you. E Songbird says, I feel like you need to trim your explanation of counterculture and pin it to the World Anvil site. That was so wonderfully detailed and succinct. Well, thank you. I'm glad it was helpful. I will see if Janet thinks we can make any use of it. Okay, fair enough. Danny says, here to be. Yeah, me too. In the company of friends, right? Walking Dead Lover says, would rebellions count? Otherwise, I have to rework my counterculture. They can, right? I would definitely say that the Rebel Alliance in Star Wars would count as a counterculture, right? Because they had their own set of rules and social expectations, right? They tended to regard the beliefs of the Jedi highly in a culture that was actively hostile towards them and spread a lot of propaganda about how the Jedi were evil. Like, it's much more clear when you read the extended lore stuff. But yeah, right? They definitely would count as counterculture. They definitely did things differently, right? And, so yeah, sure, absolutely they can, right? Socialists might have been considered a counterculture. I think they were in the United States until a couple of years ago, right? And they definitely would have been in Imperial Russia, right? So, yeah, absolutely, right? Kajutan's here. Hi, right? Says to Walking Dead Lover, yes, especially the prosecuted ones. Yeah, absolutely. Which are in the minority. Yep. Aya says, yeah, basically, since I'm questioning a lot, so I'm interested in trying witchcraft. Well, hey, definitely check it out. I wrote a book. It's called The Witch's 8 Paths of Power. It's under my Sable Aradia name, if you feel like checking it out. I feel like it's I called it a complete guide to a complete course in magic and witchcraft, and I kept a lot of the specific spiritual stuff out of it because pagan beliefs are very diverse, right? So I didn't want to enforce that. I was here to teach the craft, right? So that's what I focused on, and I did everything from you know meditation exercises to the Great Rite to the use of certain substances for religious purposes. So, and I got a lot of controversy, which amused me, and but it's there, it's a thing. If if that you think that it might help, but if you, there's lots of free places online to start to. Don't waste your like if you don't want to spend money, you don't have to. There's let's see, Pathos Pagan Channel has some good stuff there. Technically, I still write there, although I haven't in a while. Right? Let's see. I'd also like to recommend Inclusive Wicca by Yvonne Abero. It's an excellent book. Yeah. Sacredtext.com has lots of the original Gardnerian books on witchcraft and the source material. You can check it out there. It's all free. Right? It's awesome. Oh, hey! J.M. Baldwin's here. Hi, nice to see you. Sorry I've been MIA for a while. Haha, see? There we go. We're on the subject. Yeah, just had a lot of stuff happen in a short span. I hear ya. Life happens. It's cool. Right? Haven't been even be able to begin camp yet. How's your nano going? Technically it's going well because the word count's going great, but because I'm also doing World Anvil's summer camp, it tends to have been mostly world building stuff that I've been working on. So this, I wanted to do more noveling, but I guess I'm going to have to make that my August project because I can't do both, right? Walking Dead Lover says, okay, good. I really didn't want to rework it. No, that's cool. Just give them their own, like, in-culture stuff in the Rebellion. Little things they do, like how the Rebel Alliance says, may the Force be with you, right? That's part of their subculture, right? So, you know, and that's one of the ways in which they recognize each other, right? And know that they're not Imperials, right? Danny says, questioning is good, Aya. I agree. Always question. Yeah. Both in real life and world building. 100% behind you, Danny. Kajutan says, I'm interested in neo-pagan, witchcraft, etc., but more out of curiosity, not beliefs. That's cool. Go ahead and satisfy your curiosity. Ask questions. Most of us are pretty willing to talk to you about it. We're kind of used to it because we recognize the fact that we're a subculture, a counterculture, and a lot of people don't really know what we are, and there's a lot of misinformation out there. So Songbird says a letter of Merc. Letter of Mark, yeah. I think I just found my common document. Thank you, summer camp stream. Oh, letter of Mark. Good, cool. I'm glad that was helpful. Scribe of Nakati says, at the time, covers like 800 years. Yeah. Yeah. Kajutan says to Songbird, be careful not to be accused for plagiarism because someone already made it. What, a letter of Mark? There's been a million letters of Mark. There's no reason that doing a letter of Mark is plagiarism. I'm sure that a lot of people are going to do a letter of Mark. I might have done that myself for my space opera fantasy, Black Butter Fantasy World, right? You can find all kinds of historical examples of letters of Mark. This is what I do when I'm trying to create Age of Sail style documents. I go look up historical examples, and then I change the words to suit whatever it is that I'm working on. I did that with my Articles of War for the Avalonian Navy, right? And nobody's going to use the same document all the time. You're not plagiarizing it. You know, it's a very common document. It's okay, right? Danny says, Kajutan, I find that looking into things, even if you don't choose it as your own belief, makes it much easier to understand the people around you, so it's beneficial simply for that. Yes, I did a lot of research into various mythologies and religions, so I know a lot more about it than the average person on the street. And I find it's very helpful because I am rarely completely confused, and I don't tend to misinterpret things as hostile when they are not. Right? I find that I usually have common ground to discuss things with just about anybody in terms of faith. So, and it's because I read a lot, right? So read. Like, I question too. My parents had no fixed religious belief. They both came from Anglicans. They didn't like it. They said, explore. I went to all the different churches with my friends growing up. A lot of it didn't seem to fit. My civilization class in high school opened my eyes because I learned more about other religions than Christianity, right? The area that I'm in tends to be a very evangelical dominated area, so that was kind of what I thought Christianity was. It's not. Most Christians are actually Catholics, which is completely different. And I learned more about Islam, and I learned about the Hindu faith and about Taoism and all kinds of things. Yeah, learning more never hurts you. Never hurts you. Walking Dead Lover says, speaking of marks, I just remembered something important about my commonly found document. Gotta go add it in. Excellent. Laura Bones shows up. Roar, she says. Roar! Welcome. Glad you could join me. What music are you playing? It's lovely. Okay, yes, I will be happy to share this with you. This is mix. I'll show you actually. Here we go. This is, I won't leave it on long. This is a collection, old Western music and cowboy music, on the YouTube channel Fantasy and World Music by the Feichters. They are a couple of composers, right? And they're brothers, and they're awesome. They do all kinds of epic music, which I listen to in playlists when I'm writing, and this is their epic Western music. They have 2-hour-long mixes. This is what I've been playing the past couple of streams, and I think it's amazing, right? And if you use it right on your stream, then, you know, if you archive to YouTube, it'll say, yes, this music is copyrighted, so you can't monetize your video, which I don't care about there, right? But you can still play it, right? And it's awesome. So definitely check them out. They do all kinds of stuff for, like, they do you know, mystical fantasy music, and they do space fighting music and steampunk music. They're great. They're great. True Undead Hero says to Walking Dead Lover, I made one. Here you go. Songbird says, I have to step out. Thank you for the amazing stream. Well, thank you for joining me. You have a great day, and we'll see you next time. I'll be back on Wednesday. Same bat time. Kajitan says, one of the things I found out when looking into neo-paganism is that there are Greeks who cultivate the ancient religious traditions. Yes, there are, and they are damn militant about it too, right? So, yeah, there's a Greek Reconstructionist whole culture, and they're very active and very vocal, right? And really influential in the neo-pagan kind of general mix, right? And they have some neat stuff to say. Yeah. Walking Dead Lover says to True Undead Hero, there's no link. And then he put the link. Oh, and then he redeems a posture check. So, thank you again. I don't know if you heard my hip crack. Alright, we're caught up on the chat. And it's 1 hour in. Oh, yeah, right. One more thing. No, you know what? I've been yapping a long time. Let's get some writing done, shall we? Anybody in for writing? MJ Baldwin says, I'm getting kind of stuck in the logistics of my fantasy world for my project. I feel that. So I think I'm at the point where I just need to start writing and get out of my own head a little and onto the page. I do that a lot, especially when I'm trying to plan out a big battle, right? I overthink, does this make sense? You know? And one of the reasons why I do that is because there's lots of people out there who are aggressive military history researchers who are involved in science fiction and fantasy, and they will take you apart. And I have decided that I don't care, right? Because there's a point where, you know what, this is fantasy, deal with it, right? So, that's where I am. Alright. Yay, writing. Okay, cool. Let's get some writing done. We'll do a sprint, shall we? What do you think? You want to start with 10 minutes or 15? Let me know. You know what? While you guys are deciding that, I'm going to take a short break because I have to go and fetch my phone again because I'm an idiot and I always forget my phone, which has the timer. All right, we got 15. Okay, so I'm going to take probably about a 5-minute break, and I will be right back and we'll get on that, shall we? Trended Hero says, Janet says a prompt should take 15 minutes long. Yeah, if you do the 300 words, it probably would, right? I don't, though, because my OCD brain just cannot handle the article not being finished. I want to get it sort of done, right? And you know what? That's okay, right? You don't have to do that. You don't. You just have to put down enough information that you know where you're going from there and you can edit from there. But I find I cannot just leave it, right? So I like to kind of finish it and then move on, which is why I'm not going to be able to do everything this time. And that's okay. It's really okay. My prompts have taken 3 to 4 hours so far, says Daddy, because she's like me, probably. 15 minutes of writing, says Kajutan, 15 minutes of thinking and research, and 5 to 10 minutes of editing. Good for you if you can do that. That's how you're supposed to do it, and I admire that. I wish that my brain would let me do it, but it won't. So I have to do things my own way, right? And but cool if you can, right? Really cool. It's not here. That's the thing. We're not here to make it brilliant, right? And none of these articles am I entirely going, you know, okay, yeah, that's beautiful and polished and done, and I'm happy with it, right? You know, right? But that's the point. Get down what you need to get down to know what you're doing, and then flesh it out from there, right? The agile world building that they talk about, right? And that's what it's for, right? But I can't just leave it alone. I have real trouble with the character article. This is the first character article that I've actually written on World Anvil. I've been on for like more than 6 months, and I just was so intimidated by it because it's so much information. And sure as shit, I'm getting bogged down in all the details, which I shouldn't do, but I am, right? Because I like to have a very clear idea of who my characters are, right? And I think it makes the writing better when you're writing the novel, because then you know how your characters think, and you don't have to think about what would their reaction to this be. You already know, right? So for me, it's taking a lot of time, and that's okay. I'll catch up on other challenges. I expect to kind of breeze through my Star Kraken, and when we get to substances, I don't think that'll take me too long either. So, all right, I'm taking my break. Back in a few. Well, phooey. I was going to try to use the opportunity for a bio break, but unfortunately the bathroom is occupied, so I'm going to have to wait. I might run out for a quick other break after our sprint, but I didn't want to keep you guys waiting too long. So I am back. What did I miss while I was gone? Holy crap, you guys are talkative. That's great. Okay. J.M. Baldwin says, I tend not to edit as I go, otherwise I tend to rewrite and never get any further. I do edit as I go, somewhat, right? I find that about the time that I get to, I find it about thirds, right? I tend to have to go back and do like at least a first draft edit of what I've written so far. Otherwise I get confused about things like time and, I don't remember stuff like eye colors and I have to figure that out, right? So, but I try not to spend too long on it. I don't overthink how I phrased shit. I save that for the main edit after. So everybody's got their own process and you do you, right? And whatever works for you is the right way to do it, right? One thing that is very different between me and Janet at World Anvil is that she is a plotter. She likes to have everything all like written out, and this is why she needed World Anvil as a world building tool in the first place, right? Because she likes to have it all planned. She spends more time probably in the outline than on the draft, right? And that's cool. That's how James Patterson does it. I took his writing class. But I could not do that. I tried very hard because I really wanted to learn how to do a good outline, but it's just not the way my process works. I'm definitely more of a pantser, right? I don't know how it's going to end until I write the end, right? So that's just me. And whatever works for you is what works for you. Oh, hey, Story Girl's here. Hi, how are you? Nice to see you. I'm good. I'm really good. Nano's going well, and I'm in a great mood, and I'm here in the company of friends, and what more can you want? And I'm writing, so, everything's great. Aya says, are you guys ready to write? Hype, hype, hype. Yeah, exactly. We're going to write. We're going to do great. It's going to be fun. Yeah. True Undead Hero says, no! He's been struggling with some writer's block. You know what? Just put down any old nonsense. Seriously. Stop overthinking it, man. Just write it. And if it sounds stupid, you can fix it later. It is much easier to fix something that is badly written than it is to fix a blank page, right? Nikati says, what happened? She's gone. But then people told him I was just taking a break. Him or her. They. Them. Right? Since I do not know. Yeah, other people cheering for writing. Story Girl says, body clock is doing weird things, and pain is a thing. But otherwise, well, Danny, yeah, I feel you there. It's been rainy here for weeks, and I'm, I have a little arthritis, and I've been really feeling it. My neck has been out, and I've had this throb in the back of my head for days. It's like, I can feel every heartbeat. Ugh. So this could be why I've been so distracted, but, we do what we can do, right? Trended Hero says, the privateers of this new world operate on one simple truth. If there is no prey, there will be no pay. I liked that quote. I saw that, and that is cool. That's right. You do not take a prize. If you're a privateer, you get no paycheck. Aya says, I'm sorry, Danny. Fibro kicking me in the butt. Fibro is a pain. Fibro is such a pain. Fibro fog. It's a thing. Yeah. I feel ya. Story Girl says, gonna try to up my chapter count on the agenda to 3 per month. Good for you. Awesome. If you need an accountability partner, I will come and nag you. If you don't, then I will come and encourage you. Either way. Both. Both either way. Right? Tronut Hero says, I want my world to feel amazing, but every time I try, I do bad, at least in my opinion. The work, you are your own worst critic. It is never as, you see all the flaws in it, right? Nobody else will, right? And the other thing is, you're never going to get perfection, right? Like Margaret Atwood said, if I worried about perfection, I would never write a word, right? You can't. It's never going to come out exactly like you hear it in your head. It never will. But you can get close, right? You can get close. And beta readers are there to tell you what needs to be fixed and what they don't understand, right? Because you haven't made it clear. And, you know, that's great, you know? And then you write for yourself, right? Put it out there if you want to put it out there, right? If that's something you want to do. Not every writer has to be an author. You know, you don't have to. You can write just for yourself. It's fine. It's good, right? But, you know, if you do want to, put it out there and accept that some people are going to think it's shit no matter what you do. And some people are going to hate everything you do. I have 1-star reviews on my books. I have 5-star reviews on my books. I got more 5-star reviews than 1-star reviews. So I think I'm doing okay. You know, I tend to average about 4 or 5. I must be doing all right. You know, like, but there's always going to be somebody out there who doesn't like it, and that's okay. Not everything's for everybody. I don't like everything I read, even some of the really well-written classics out there, you know, classic books that we study. I'm like, this is crap. You know, Janet's going to hate me, but I am not a Jane Austen fan. Don't like her at all. I find her boring as shit. I just don't like it. I understand her importance, right? I get that she's a really good writer. I'm glad that she exists, because otherwise there wouldn't, you know, she paved the way for people like me, right? But I don't like her work. I just don't enjoy reading it. Millions of people do. It's okay. Danny says, oof, yep, them spoons. Spoony writers, right? I'm glad things are otherwise well, Story Girl. Goal sounds excellent. Aha, and we have a highlight. Sable, use your rage for your bio-break denial to fuel your writing. Let it rush through you like a waterfall and flood your imagination. You're damn right. I bet you I'll write faster when I'm in pain and angry. Yeah, sometimes I do that. Writing is therapy. Writing is therapy. Yeah. Story Girl says to Danny, also working on a new short story. Excellent. I'm working on in the background, which will probably end up being more of a short novella, 10K to 12K. Yeah, I feel that one too. I always overwrite the word count limit and then have to go back and cut, right? And that's probably fine. And, you know, but the story is as long as it needs to be. I have started out writing what I thought was going to be like a 5,000 word short story and ended up writing a novella. It happens. It's okay. Jan Baldwin says, the only time I edit as I go is when I handwrite and then type up. That makes sense. That's a good way to do it, right? As I flesh it out, whatever I get to typing, even when I don't mean to. Well, yeah, you're going to do that because you're going to start to see the flaws in it. Changing mediums like that is a great way to do editing because you catch stuff you wouldn't otherwise catch, right? And you can do it in any method, right? So that handwriting to typing, that's awesome, right? Reading it out loud can be really helpful. I often find that I find mistakes when I'm reading to my patrons. That's like, you know, a very helpful process for me, right? Even switching it from my laptop to my phone can be really helpful because it looks different and I see different things. I'll often do editing when I'm sitting in the car waiting on my laptop, or on my phone rather, because I have Word installed for my phone and I have Dropbox so I can access my writing anywhere, right? And I'll probably do that now with manuscripts as well at World Anvil because that is a fucking cool tool. Okay. Danny says to Aya, I'm sorry, pain tends to be a demolition derby. It does. We got this though. Socially distanced fist bump. That's right. Story Girl, Danny wants to know what Story Girl's story is about. Story Girl says backstory stuff for the Wayfarers game. Nice. Racial origin story piece focusing on a Neolithic member of the Sazar race. Cool. The Sazar race? Neat. Troned Hero says, question. If you get eaten by an undead shark who is revived by magic, do you die or do you undie? That's a good question. I would say, how much of you has been digested? That's hilarious. Story Girl, tempting re the accountability partner thing. Okay, I'll come and sort of semi-harass you, encourage you then. You got it. Okay. Danny says, cool, Story Girl, that sounds like fun world buildingness. Yes, it really does. It sounds excellent. Danny says, player is going to like that too. Awesome. Story Girl says, that's part of the point, but also wanting to use it as a way to pitch the setting to other audiences. Yep, that's excellent. Oh, the Big Juicy's here. Hello. Nice to see you too. J.M. Baldwin says, you with Jane Austen is kind of like me with Emily Bronte. Yeah, that's another one that I like the Brontes better, but, you know, I still struggle, right? Wuthering Heights. I don't like that book at all, but just to say that most writers are readers, and they just look down on me like I'm some lowbrow scuzz. Yeah, you know what? You don't have to like everything. You don't have to like the classics. It's really okay. You're allowed to not, right? You should read them. You should read them. Everyone should read the classics. Don't go, oh, well, it's a classic, so I'm not going to read it because I'm too cool for school. Look, there's a reason why they're a classic, okay? Right? And you should understand what that reason is, so you should read it if you get the chance. But you don't have to like it, you know? And if you can't finish it, you know, put a DNF on it and go on, right? Walking Dead Lover says, one prompt idea that was meant to be 4K words turned into a novel trilogy that ties into 2 other series, hence the world I'm working on. That's how it starts. Every world starts with a single scene, a single story, a single visual image of a plot, right? A single character, right? And then it grows. And some ideas are like that, and they're meant to be big, and some aren't. And you'll know, right? The Big Juicy says, I hit my first 50K words in 5 weeks. Congratulations! That's excellent. Good for you. That is what we're here for. 50K in 5 weeks is excellent. That's great. So you should definitely be doing Nano in November because you can do it. Aya says to Danny, sorry, I went away for a second, returns the fist bump. Walking Dead Lover says, okay, guys, what do you say we stop the chat for a bit so we can finally get down to writing? Yes, let's do that. And Toretto Hero says, I am considered weird for liking On Stranger Tides by Timothy Tim Powers. You have the wrong friends, man. You need more nerd friends. Yeah. That's why I go online. Okay, let's get writing. I agree. Let's do it. Set up my timer here. 15 minutes was the agreed upon time. So we are going to do that. All right, everyone ready? All right. Put up my main screen here. And let's go. that's time. Wow, that went fast, eh, guys? All right. Scrolling back to the beginning of where I turned it off. Okay. And now I'll add up my words here, which I'm going to have to do in word counter because I did this on my World Anvil page. And you know what? I should be saving this, but alright. I feel like I got a lot done on that sprint, actually. I'm very happy about that. Maybe it's not going to turn out to be a lot in actual words, but I got a lot of subject matter done, so I'm pretty happy about it. Wrong one. I like this saloon music, I think it's great. Alright, so 338 words total, which actually isn't too bad for a 15-minute sprint for me, so that's pretty good. So that alone would have done the challenge requirements. So Story Girl said, FYI, I'm passing on the sprint, going to do a writing stream later on. Cool, maybe I'll join you so I can get some writing done too, since I end up doing a lot of talking in these streams. Trunded Hero said, would a viceroy be a civil, noble, non-hereditary, or an honorific? Oh, I would do that as a rank within the template system myself. You know? Oh, Story Girl answered for me. Viceroy is typically outside the royal line, yep, but probably a member of the nobility, also true. It's more like a royally appointed prime minister governor, hence colonial governors having vice-regal powers. Thank you very much for explaining that. That's a better job than I could have done. Good work. Oh, I should be on the downtime screen. There we go. Now you can see my face. Okay. Right. I.e., they speak for the throne. Story Girl adds. Yep, absolutely. Trended Hero says, I will say civic political. Oh yeah. Right, categories. Categories of ranks. Good question. Good question. Just a second. There's a rank title challenge on this, isn't there? Location, condition, ethnicity, rank. Right. Yeah, there's different categories listed in the drop-down menu. I don't know. I say go with that, and I will, if I disagree when I get there, I will let you know. Walking Dead Lover says, my document has been updated with the mark, but it's not what you think it is. Oh? Letter of mark, perhaps? That might be cool. Right? Well, that's neat. Okay, yeah, save it for the share stream, because we will do that, right? We'll do the feedback stream, right? So, Walking Dead Lover says, also True Undead Hero, I love your article. The way you spell Mark is unique to me. Well, that's generally how it's spelled when you look it up in history, right? Because it's an abbreviation for something, and actually True Undead Hero knows more about that than I do. So, if he wants to respond to that, I'll let him. Yeah, he was just agreeing with me, that's how it's spelled. Everyone in the chat spells it as M-A-R-K, so I thought it was unique. No, it's how it's supposed to be spelled. People spelling it M-R-K, M-A-R-K are conflating there, and there. Right? That's because it sounds like. Oh wow, True Undead Hero did 457 words. Good for you. See, I knew once you got started writing it'd be fine. You're doing great. That's awesome. Right? Walking Dead Lover says 140 words. Still excellent. That's great. Danny did 400 or 146. Awesome. Oh, he's posted this link in the chat for this Viceroy article. Are you like, you're working on it? That's cool. Well, I might as well have a look too. If you guys want to post your links in the chat, right, feel free, right? I don't promise I'm going to go over them and review them, but at least not this time, right? But that way other people can take a look at them too, right? So if you want to share your article, Walking Dead Lover, feel free, because I'm now curious what you mean by the mark is not what I think it is. Done. Excellent. Oh, and you said some more. You said, this is what Wikipedia says about the word mark. M-A-R-Q-U-E, right? Mark derives from the Old English merk, which is from the German mark, which means boundary or boundary marker, which is derived from the Proto-Indo-European root mer, meaning boundary or border. Hey, thanks for the bits, Basic Dragon! Yay! Thank you very much. And the follow too. How awesome is that? Cool. And now I have an emote, which is the Pride Float, which is awesome. Thank you so much. That's great. Right on. Yay. Yes, cool. I love, the more Pride emotes, the better. In my opinion, I'll take them all. I think you're the one who gave me the Pride Dragon one too, weren't you? Or was that Secondhand Samurai? But I think it was you. And I love my Pride Dragon. It's perfect for me. I'm a dragon person too. Right. So that's cool. Nice to see you, by the way. Thanks for joining me. All right. And then anyway, where was I? Yes. Merg meaning boundary or border. The French mark is from the Provençal language marca. Yeah, Provençal? Yeah, Français. No, Provençal. Right? That's right, because of marca, which is from marcar, also provincial, meaning seize as a pledge. That is something I didn't know, and I actually have a keen interest in the provincial language and period, because that is where the troubadours come from, and I have a distinct interest in them. I wrote a story that is, it's all historically based. The only things that are fictional is the touch of fantasy that I use in it. But even that I got from The Art of Courtly Love by Andreas Capellanus, Sir Andreas Capellanus, also called L'Amore, right? Which was his treatise on the art of courtly love and the philosophy of the troubadours, which could also have been considered a counterculture, by the way, right? And it's a story about a lesbian couple, one of whom is a female troubadour, a troubadouress, right? And that's going to be on the Lesbian Historic Motif podcast later this year, right? So, so a real keen interest in that period. Yeah, the only things that were not historical were the little bit of fantasy that they used, but that was based in a historical source, right? And the protagonist. Everything else is historical. So, yay! Bits are great. Oh, giving out stuff all over the chat. Awesome. Yay, and everyone's cheering because Basic Dragon is here, because Basic Dragon is awesome. Yep. Warning, my article world is extremely dark, says Walking Dead Lover. Well, I'm going to have a look at it first before I put it on stream then. Oh, no, I saw this one, the exotic pet laws. Okay, yeah, definitely check out this link, guys. This is cool. I think I liked this article already too. Yes, I did. Yes, this is that's dark, all right. Redeeming the hydrate. I am hydrating. There is no caffeine in this pop. Thank you very much for that. I put that up specifically for Lorraine because she kept telling me to hydrate as an option, but she is not here today, unfortunately. Yeah, definitely check out the Exotic Pet Laws article. That is amazing world building, by the way. It may be very dark, but see, the cool thing about it is that it says, I know so much about your world already from this one article, right? I get the whole thing. I'm pretty sure I get the culture. I know where the conflicts are going to be. And that's really well done. You know, you definitely have my interest. Actually, you know what? Have I followed your world yet? I have not. I should do that because that alone tells me that this is something I want to read. Oh, you're Amelia Knight. Cool. Okay. Now I know who you are, and I'm connecting you with a name in the Discord. And thank you for joining my Discord. All right, where's your follow? Follow. There we go. Because this is cool. Oh, you're a writer. You have published books. Cool. I will check those out too. Okay. I'm gonna leave that up so I can look at that after the stream. Okay. Yay! Trended Hero says, I feel bad because all the stuff that I'm world building right now doesn't seem interesting at all. You know what? Everybody reaches a point in their writing where they're going, oh, what am I doing here? This is boring. Is anybody else going to like this? Do I even like this anymore? What the hell? Excuse me, right? But, you know, I would say then, if you're doing a couple of different worlds, maybe it's time to put this one down for a bit and go work on the other one for a bit and come back. Because sometimes when you have fresh eyes, it can feel a lot better, right? I think it's really cool what you're working on, right? I'm an active fan, right? So, don't give up because I think it's great. But if you need to take a break for a while, work on your your other world there, your Russian Crimean War based universe or something, because that's a cool idea too. Kajutan says, my myth is probably the weirdest prompt in summer camp so far. Is it? I don't know. I thought House Cat as an apex predator was particularly well done. So, I don't know. Time Pool typically does weird shit. So, I'd like to see. Yeah. Basic Dragon says, really like the headers as well. Yes, the headers are lovely in Amelia's world here, right? So, which is Walking Dead Lover. So, check it out. Yeah, thanks so much for the follow. You're welcome. I follow what I like. The books aren't really published. It's more of an introduction to explain why I published it, although I'm hoping to have the prologue up by the end of the month. Well, awesome. Let me tell you, I think that if you're just getting into self-publishing right now, right, then manuscripts is an excellent way to do it. I understand that we are going to be able to convert it to EPUB, right? That is part of what the plan is, right? And certainly it's an amazing editing tool. So, I think it might be a real simple way to get that started. And certainly it seems to be a great way to expose your world to people. My manuscript's already published, right? But I put it up, at least the first chapter, for public viewing because I kind of make the first chapter free for everybody. It's like, here's a sample of what you're missing. Now, hopefully you're addicted to the drug now, and now you have to pay me, right? But that's what I do. But I've had a lot of views on it, right? And, more all the time because I can see that it's going to be a really well-developed community, and there's some really good writers there. I haven't just been looking at my own stuff. I've been looking at other people's stuff, and check it out, right? Check it out. Kajitan says, mine is about castrating a god and creating magic from his genitals. That is not original. It's cool and way to use a much unused myth, right? But that actually, I remember that being a thing in the Greek myths. Isn't that something that Zeus did to his father Kronos when he seized control of the universe and the gods rebelled against the Titans, right? Tossed his genitals into the ocean or something, and then Aphrodite rose up out of the foam, something like that. So, but it's cool that you're using that because that's unused a lot. Fertility, male fertility in particular, used to figure a lot in ancient myth. The Mesopotamians had a whole thing about it too. So, and don't forget Osiris, right? Osiris. When Isis put him back together, she found every piece but that one, right? So she had to fashion a phallus out of gold. So that's the thing. I don't know if I would want a gold phallus, but and your mileage may vary. All right. That just went right to not safe for work, but this is marked as a mature channel, so that's okay. Trended Hero says, I think the main reason I'm kind of bummed out right now is because this is a D&D setting world and I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know. I don't know how to provide you guidance on that one. You do seem to be feeling very much at a loss about it. And, but creating a D&D world, you don't really have to know what, it's not like writing a book, right? You don't have to write a plot, right? What you have to know is areas of conflict where the characters can get into trouble, right? And you've got lots of different areas of conflict, right? What are some things they can run into that are going to be problems and obstacles? Where are the conflicts? Like, who are the likely bad guys, right? Who are the likely good guys, right? Is there really a bad or good side? Do people have to choose, right? I know your universe, and you've got a very clear good and bad side, but then there's ethical dilemmas, like what about the people who are unwittingly serving these invading fairies, right? But I mean, they're not bad people. What do you do about them, right? So I think just like creating setting and stuff is just fine, right? It's just fine. Did you do the cow workshop? Because maybe it would really help you to get some direction to apply the cow workshop principles to what you're creating. I like it. I like your world. I don't, I'm sorry you feel bad about it because I think it's cool. Aya says, my myth is about an earth alien lesbian goddess. Awesome. All right, earth alien lesbian goddess. I'm in already. Gifting a bong, still in, to a fire alien lesbian goddess made from pieces of her soul before she gets reborn. So you're fine, Kajitan. Yeah, that's I'm sure that's not unique either, but I cannot think of because every story's been written, right? But I can't think of an example off the top of my head that looks anything quite like it, unless you're talking about pomegranates and poisoned apples. So that is cool. And who knows? I mean, like, it's a good thing. It's a gift, right? A gift of plants of enlightenment. You'd probably have to go to South American legends of ayahuasca and whatnot for anything that looked quite like that, and that's cool. Good for you. Yeah. So maybe South Americans may know something more than I do about that, and if you do, you're happy to be watching the stream, let me know, right? Oh, Cronus did that to Uranus. Okay, that's one thing, but I thought that Zeus did it to Cronus too, right? I don't know. I guess it depends on what you read, but yeah, you're right. You're right. Cronus and Uranus were the originals. So yeah, no, that's a neat idea. I'm gonna have to read that article now. That's interesting. Walking Dead Lover says, I mean, internally squealing from all these follows. Thank you guys. Well, cool. If people came to find you, that is awesome. That is great. Danny gave a heart. For real, I need the link to that myth. It sounds epic. Yeah, it does. Yes, please do put it in the chat. Basic Dragon says, True Undead Hero, have you checked out the Great GM's YouTube channel? And Aya says, I'm South American. Ha ha. Well, cool. Maybe you do know about local legends that are more like that. Whereabouts in South America are you, if you don't mind me asking? Because, obviously different countries will have completely different perspectives. Oh, Kajitan put the myth. Cool. I will definitely check that out. If you want me to look at these in the feedback episode next week, then, you know, you'll have to post them again. I won't remember that they're here, right? So, but, you know, keep them in mind and I will. Trinidad Hero says, to Basic Dragon, I haven't checked them out in a while, but I got the books by him. I have a book by him that is supposed to be coming whenever the prizes get caught up on. I also have a book by BK Bass that's supposed to be coming to me from the raffle of the World Ember Award ceremony that I still haven't gotten. Poor Janet is a little overwhelmed, I think. Aya says, Argentina. We have a few indigenous myths. Yeah, cool. Argentina, that's great. Indigenous myths are really interesting, and I know so little about them in that area. Like, the different South American indigenous groups are probably the thing I have read the least about, period, right? As far as mythology goes, right? But I would love to know more. So if you have any sources, you know, places I can look, put them in the chat. I'm not afraid of them being in Spanish, by the way, right? Because I can, or, you know, or Portuguese, right? If that's a thing too, right? I don't care. I can look it up. Or French, right? Because I have Google Translate. I can figure it out. So I'm going to put my music back on. My music has died. Oh, I don't know if I can use these ones. I don't know. This is... Oh, I didn't know this was a thing. Well, I'm going to remember this link because now I'm going to have to, like, copy this link because this... I like this guy's music, but I don't know if I can play it on stream, so I'm not going to for the time. Well, I can just go back to the first one. There we go. Okay. Trinidad Hero says, I think the myth and the object related to it is going to be the toughest, because I can't think of one for either world. Okay. You're using Celtic legend as your basis for your New World culture, as I recall. And there is, like, it's Titania and Oberon, right? So, Pan's pipes, because, like, Puck had, like, pan pipes, right? So that could be a thing. The Cauldron of the Dagda. There was a whole thing about a silver torque. They're into lost wells in Celtic culture. We'll chat on Discord, right? We'll chat. I'll help you out. I'll point you in some directions. Basic Dragon says to True Ended Hero, I don't know much about D&D worlds, but people say that his videos are helpful, and they are just for writing, or yeah, they are for just writing worlds as well. So, yeah. I like his channel, and I watch his YouTube videos. He's on my host list. I think I was hosting him before I went live today, right? The Great GM, and yeah, it's good stuff. He's got lots of good stuff to say, right? If you watch the Cal workshop, right, if you didn't before, then the Agile world building stuff may be of really great help to you. Okay. You guys want to do another sprint? I've been yapping for a while again, and I'm liking getting things done. Looks like we've got just over half an hour, 40 minutes left to the stream. So, Tornad Hero says, I made Titania and Oberon slightly villainous. Only slightly. They should be villainous. They were sort of villainous in A Midsummer Night's Dream when they first appeared, right? Fairies, the thing about fairies, right, is that, okay, I realize that the current trend is to make them all, like, you know, friendly and maybe even cute, and we think of Tinkerbell, right, when we think of fairies, but they were representatives of the force of the wild when they were a thing in their original form, and they're dangerous, right? And the reason why they're dangerous is because they have powers that humans don't. They're sometimes, I mean, usually immortal, or at least we perceive them that way, right? And they have a completely different morality from what we do. They don't understand mortal limitations. So even when they're trying to be fun and helpful, they can be dangerous. So it's really okay if they're a little sinister. It's really fine. Sounds like you've got, whether intentionally or unintentionally, you've got a theme going on in your world of a conflict between civilization and the wilderness, right? And there's a lot to mine there in terms of ideas, right? Is it better to, you know, drain this bog where red caps are hiding, right? To make it safe for humans? Or is it, you know, offensive should they be given a place where they can, you know, be left alone? And honestly, our idea, the prevailing culture now appears to be taking on a more ecologically sensitive ethic, which I think is awesome. But that's actually pretty new, right? Most of the time, the world was a scary place that people felt that they should conquer to feel safe, right, from the dangers that lurk in the dark. So, and in a way, we're in a place of privilege that our technology is so advanced that we can feel like the wild is something we can leave alone, right, and should leave alone. So, yeah. Daddy says, ready for the next sprint when you are. Okay, we'll get right on that. Tyranid Hero says, exactly, this is why I wanted the new world to be based around the Feywild and Fey creatures, because it's meant to be dangerous. It is meant to be this place that light and dark may not be friendly. Yeah, and that's cool. There should be a little peril. I'm ready for the next sprint too. What do you guys say? Do you want to do a long one? We're almost at the end of the stream. We could do half an hour, right? And you know, get her done. Or if you'd rather, you know, that still leaves me about 10 minutes to talk at the end of the stream, which is cool, right? Or if you guys want, we could do another, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes and spend some more time talking. It's totally up to you. Full stream size coffee cup. This is like, I don't know if people have seen this yet. This is like our, you know, first test of some Toy Soldier Saga merch. This art was done by Jamie Buckley. He's amazing. Walking Dead Lover says, I'm good with however long you want it to be. Trended Hero says 20 minutes. IS says, Sable, I'll send you the links to indigenous mythology from Argentina on Discord. Thank you very much. That would be awesome. I would love to know more. I am so woefully uneducated in that department, and I would really like to expand my knowledge, so that's great. Thank you. I love mythology from anywhere and anything. I'm just interested in it. Hearing no dissenting opinions, we're going to do 20 minutes. All right, so I'll get my main screen back going here. Oh, did I save this? No, I didn't, because I'm an idiot. I'll do that now. There we go. I think I was on this one. Is that where I was? No, I was on the physical one. Okay. There we go. That's where I was. All right. So setting my timer for 20 minutes. And we're off. Why is it that the hubby always starts coughing when I'm doing the sprint, but not when I'm talking? we at time already? Holy cow. And the words of Captain America language. That was what it was like for fuck's sake. Yeah, I know. I'm sorry. It's a mature channel. That's why. I'm a Canadian. I swear a lot. Okay, so I'm going to count up my words here before I do anything else. Let me know how you guys did in the chat. Sorry about that, by the way. Yes, language. Alright. I kept... the print screen key, I keep hitting it with my pinky finger, right? And therefore I end up with, screenshots that I don't mean to take. I should reset my settings, but I just haven't gotten around to it. So where was I here? That's where I was. Okay. Now, if you're also doing Camp Nano, you should be filling in your session stuff as you go with this wonderful little plus sign right there. The reason why I am not doing that is because I did not finish my article last night, but I wanted to count my word count, so I already entered in part of the article's word count. But I remember how much it was that I had entered in, so at the end of this article today, I'm going to subtract that amount from the new amount and enter in the new number, right? But don't forget to be filling that out if you're doing Camp Nano too. All right. Because I will forget if I'm not reminded. So that's where it was. I thought I got more done than that. I must have spent a while staring at the screen. Oh well, that's okay. It's not bad. Right, so 378 words is my total. All right. Okay, and while I was working, Trinidad Hero said one of the greatest downfalls of the Aztecs was the European understanding of empire, because once they saw the immense beauty of their power, they saw it as a threat to their way of life. Is that from your work, or is that something that you got from someone else? Trinidad Hero says, I got nothing for this one. Thank you for redeeming the posture check. Cool. Aya says, I'm doing Apex Predator. Cool. My writing tabs are starting to look like Sable's. Yes, I imagine they probably are. Mine are going to look worse when I do the Apex Predator, which I'm obviously doing when I'm done here. I'm almost done my character article now, so I'm very happy with the results of this sprint. I should be here. Yes. Okay. So I'm very happy with the results of that because I'm just tidying up details now, more or less. Walking Dead Lover says, my tabs have looked like Sable since May. Truth. Yeah, Mergendor showed up. Hello, Mergendor. Right? Said, mine too. Yeah, that's where I got teased about my language. Sorry, guys. Basic Dragon says 151 words. Excellent. Walking Undead Lover says it was a joke. Okay, yeah, I know, but yes. No, I should try not to do that on, especially in this, right now everybody's cross-hosting each other, and maybe other people's channels are not mature channels, right? So I should try to mind my mouth. So, thanks for the, I realize it was a joke, because, you know, and it was funny. It was funny. It's cool. Trunded Heroes is -17. Oh dear. Well, editing is a good thing to be doing too, and I don't think you're doing Camp NaNoWriMo, so it's not as important for you to get a total of word count. If you're doing Camp NaNoWriMo, I would be like, do not edit. It is bad. Take it, put it at the bottom of your manuscript, and count it towards your total, right? Anyway, but you're not, so it doesn't matter, right? That's cool. Whatever you want to do is cool. It's the number of prompts that you're doing in summer camp that counts, right? It's only those of us who are doing both that, or just Camp Nano for whom it matters, right? Walking Dead Lover impresses the hell out of me with 542 words. You win, at least so far. That's awesome. Basic Dragon says, oops, almost forgot Camp Nano. Thanks. Good, thank you. I'm glad that my reminder to update your word count helps. That's great. I forget, so I like it when other people remind me. Trinidad Hero says, it's a quote from The Fall of Mesoamerica, which I've not read, but okay, fair enough. And that's pretty accurate. Mergendor waved back and said, I'm working on counterculture. Yes, counterculture is, it's an interesting one if you're not really sure what you're doing. I really approve of that particular prompt, by the way. Trinidad Hero says, do not edit. You're not my supervisor. You're right, I'm not. I'm just here to, like, try to, you know, lead by example and cheer and encourage people. So if I'm not helpful, tell me to shut up. It's cool. I don't mind. I've been told to shut up before. I talk too much. You may have noticed. Aya says, oh no, there's no stream afterwards. Yeah, that's true. I think I meant for the day, right? As far as the Anvilite stream schedule goes. It's why I chose this time, actually, and finally settled on a time for Sable's WorldForge. Normally, I've been kind of doing that when and if I have time on the weekend, but I realized there's a big empty chunk here, right? And I don't want to cross stream with anybody if at all possible, because I want you to go and watch their stuff, right? I want you to support each other. That's what we're here for. So I thought, well, this is a good place to do it. But I'm sure somebody is live. I have lots of writing people that I follow. You know what? I'll go to my stream manager right now and I will check out. There it is. I will check out who might be streaming after me. So let's check it out, because if I type in raid channel, it'll tell me who's live. Okay, so right now it's just Itanchi who is live. He has a writing channel, right? He does really cool stuff, right? He writes and he talks. He's not an Anvilite, but he does good stuff about writing. So if you're looking for someone to listen to in the background and, you know, encourage you with writing, he plays chill music, and it looks a lot like, let's see, I was watching Italia C yesterday, and her stream looks a lot like his stream in terms of what they do there, right? Which is mostly writing and chatting and chill music, right? So, or a bit like the Ethnos stream. Except that, of course, since he's not on World Anvil, he's not going to tell you about how to do your stuff, but he will encourage you to write. So, I'm going to raid him afterwards since there's no Anvilite to raid. And, you know, if you want to still hear that. Also, Story Girl says that she's going to be on later. You can find her link on my channel. I think she's one of my recommended streamers, but I'm giving the Anvilites kind of the spotlight, so you'll see them first. Oh my god, yes, can you type their name? Oh yeah, sure I can, absolutely. So, here. Okay, Itanchi is the name of the one we're rating. right? And then Story Girl. Yeah, Story Girl is the one who is rating in a minute. Yeah, you're welcome. Of course, you're welcome for the plug. You do a good stream. You're fun to hang out with, and I think people should definitely check it out. When are you on? How long until you go live? And yeah, no problem. No problem at all. Possibly a couple of hours. Okay, so, you know, go follow her channel, and then you'll get the notification. Yeah, don't have a fixed schedule in mind. Yeah, I usually don't on the weekend either, but I've decided to do it this month especially because there's so many different World Anvil writing streams that I did not want to, you know, make people choose between which stream they would go check out, right? So I chose a time and decided to stick with it. I may end up doing that forever now because, you know, once you've developed the habit, right? Okay, so thanks to the community challenge people who contributed. Next week we are going to be doing entirely a feedback stream in the slot, right? For those of you who weren't here when that happened, because it was right at the beginning of the stream, basically put your links in the chat and I will do feedback. And it doesn't have to be like a lot of my followers here and viewers come from World Anvil, and that's awesome, but not all of them do. There's a lot of nano writing community people here as well. Shout out to the Twitch Writers Network, right? And so it's feedback, right? So whatever it is, right? Whether it's a World Anvil article or a short story or whatever you like. My only limitation is I think I said a maximum of 2,000 words because I want everybody to get a turn, right? So, but you can give me a longer story if you want, or even the first chapter of your novel or the 5th chapter of your novel. I don't care, right? It's just that I'll only review about up to 2,000 words so that I'm not, you know, hogging the spot for everybody. Oh, thank you for the posture check. Awesome, Trended Hero. I appreciate that. That was my lower back. Thank goodness. So good. Right, so yeah, and it'll be first come, first served, except of course the usual rules of, you know, the channel apply, which is to say if you highlight your message or do a shout out, right, those will get priority, right, and my patrons will also get priority, right? If you're not familiar, I have a Patreon, patreon.com/Sable. For $1 a month, you can read all of my fiction serialized. I try to put out a chapter a week, which is something I'd also better go down in the next couple of days, right? If you're following the channel, right, then I stream on Wednesdays and now Sundays from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. Pacific time. Diane Writes is the name of the stream on Wednesdays, and it's supposed to be more focused specifically on drafting and writing. And then this one, Sable's WorldForge, is generally more for behind-the-scenes world building. But obviously there will be overlaps, so you may want to check them both out. Monday nights, 6 to 9 p.m. Pacific time, we playcast our Toy Soldiers old school game, which takes place in my Toy Soldier Saga universe, and it's audio. We have trans players. We have players who are limited to satellite internet, so we keep it to audio only so you can think about the characters. We have an image of the characters up, and we have a good time. A lot of us were an established gaming group before we started playcasting, and we have fun. So definitely check that out if you're into that. Right, bi-weekly I also do on every second Thursday, so not this Thursday coming up, but the next Thursday at 3 p.m. Pacific time to 4 p.m. Pacific time, we broadcast If This Goes On, Don't Panic, which is a podcast about hope, resistance, and speculative fiction. We interview people in the broad speculative fiction community, which could be writing, gaming, short fiction, novels, indie writers, traditionally published writers, game designers, whatever, right? And we have them on, we talk about what they're doing, and we talk about hope and resistance in speculative fiction. And that's my big spiel about what I do. So make sure to check out the World Anvil Master Scheduling stream link, which somebody posted in the chat before, but I will, I don't know, I'll post my link again because it's handy. Again, I didn't get a chance to get the official link up. It's in the Discord, on the World Anvil Discord if you're checking that out. Where is it? There we go. This is my page where I created the link to the schedule. It default appears in Central Time in the US, but if you click on the entries, it will show it in your time zone. So, right, that's so you don't miss anybody, because there's so many people who are doing cool stuff, and you should definitely look at it. All right. And we're at 5 minutes after 4, so does anybody else have anything they want to say before we call this a day? I want to say thank you all for joining me, and thank you for the follows, and thank you for the bits. Basic Dragon, you're awesome, right? And thank you for contributing to the community challenge so we can do that. While Sable is Wiccan, what World Anvil and Ethnos do is real real witchcraft. That's true on Net Hero. I agree. That's real magic, guys. Definitely cool. Yeah. Yeah. Yes. How do you do the heart? I don't know how to do heart. Yes. Heart. That's how we do. Okay. Yes. Thank you, Basic Dragon. Yeah. Good night, guys. Good afternoon. Good morning, wherever you are. Have a great day, and I hopefully will see some of you tomorrow night.